Hello there, friends. It's Lynn Lindbergh, the host of this here, the Health and Fitness Motivation Podcast. That's right. I'm the host here and author of the book Couch to Active. And today we are continuing our series that I'm calling Get Organized. That's right. We are getting our homes, the physical spaces in our homes, organized so that we need less grit and less self-discipline to make this whole lifestyle thing of health and fitness happen for us. That's right. Because when people say lifestyle, essentially what it means is you've got your lifestyle set up so that health and fitness just happens. That's, you're like, oh my gosh, you're right. Lifestyle means it just kind of happens because that's just what we do. Obviously, health and fitness always requires some grit and self-discipline and planning and all of that. I mean, of course it does. That's why we're like 476 episodes into a podcast. If it was easy, we would already end on it. We know that. We know. Okay. Today in this series, we want to go into our kitchens and do our next step. But let's talk about yesterday. So how did yesterday go for y'all? Yeah. So yesterday we went in and we cleaned out rotten food and things we don't need anymore. So like I did this. I went into my kitchen and thank goodness I just moved. Like 5 months ago, I moved into a new house. And this is a lot of work for me, even being in a new home for 5 months. I can't imagine if you've been in your house for 20 years, the stuff. Oh my goodness. But I went in, yesterday was cleaning out the junk. So I went in and there were like my refrigerator. There was these meatballs in there. Perfectly sort of still kind of not really good meatballs. I knew nobody was going to actually eat them, but they weren't actually rotten yet, but they were too old to put in the freezer. So I'm like, boop, out, done. Clean it out. I had overbought lettuce. And I know like, oh my gosh, I don't want to be wasteful. I had some lettuce, but it was going like wimpy. It wasn't good. I knew we weren't going to eat it. I know it's like, I feel bad throwing out food, but I knew realistically I wasn't gonna. So boop, gone. Like that kind of thing, Went into the pantry, found these rice crackers that I bought. Like, oh, I like rice crackers because they're low calorie and they'll be a nice little low calorie cardboard styrofoam snack. Yeah. Gone. I think the only time I don't know, maybe you like rice crackers, but the only time I ever eat them is when I'm really feeling guilty and I'm trying to restrict calories and I'm just not in the healthiest mindset. So, but maybe that's not what rice crackers means to you. But anyhow, we cleaned out the stuff, all like junk, old stuff we're not going to use, went into our cupboards, did all that. If you haven't done that yet, go back to and listen to that episode and give that a try. Today's task is physically going to be easier, mentally maybe tougher, because today we're going to look at sugar. And we're not going to necessarily make any decisions about what sugar we do or don't eat in our life, because we already know less is better when it comes to sugar. Always less is better when it comes to sugar. We know that. It is not headline news. So we want to go in today and we want to look in our kitchen and we want to brutally get rid of the sugar in our kitchen. I know. Big ask, even if it's perfectly good sugar. Now, I'm not saying you have to get rid of every single bit of it, but like go in, look at that freezer. Like what do you really have there as far as treats and ice cream and stuff? And I'm not talking sugar like fruits and vegetables and oranges and apples. No. I'm talking highly processed fructose, corn syrup, added sugar, stuff like that. And I'm not even talking like get rid of anything that has any sugar in it, like ketchup tends to have sugar in it, other things like that. No. I'm just talking today. If you got a bowl of candy, get rid of it. Oh my goodness. Yes, I know. If you've got a bunch of ice cream in there that you know is not the right thing for you, you're going to get rid of it. Oh my. Okay. And here's why this is important. First of all, first and foremost, you can have some in your house. This isn't a forever, never, ever, ever again thing. And the topic of sugar is huge, but it really comes down to if you have a goal of having less food cravings, of less hankerings, of less like, I really want that bowl of ice cream, or I just ate dinner, I know, but I really want, my toast and butter, or I really want, that bagel, or, highly refined like sugar. The body doesn't like that. When the body gets a bunch of sugar, your insulin spikes. When the insulin starts dropping, that's when you get those hankerings. That's when you feel like eating healthy is insurmountable. That's when you feel like you'll never be able to do this health and fitness thing, because the body literally, when it comes down off of sugar, it's revolting and it's looking for more and more and more. There's a whole lot of hormonal reasons of why that's going on. But trust me, it's not you, it's your body. So we got to let go of this whole guilt of, I'll never be able to do this. I don't have enough willpower. I can't do this. And we got to start looking at having less and less and less sugar in our lives so that we can actually have more stable blood sugars, so that we have less cravings, so that we're able to manage what we eat and portion control. So it's a whole big, huge thing. I don't want to go into it to too much more detail. Oh my gosh, I could talk an hour on it. But for today, physically, look at your house. Like, do you have a candy bowl that always sits out? That's got to go. Tough love, man. Tough love. That's got to go. Do you always have, something that you can always grab for? Oh my gosh, even me, I'm like, at first, this is going to feel really, really hard. And you'll probably go through 50 rounds of getting rid of that sugar junk in your house. And then it comes back in, and getting rid of it, and it comes back in. But that's okay. That's okay. Don't worry about that. We're looking at incremental progress here. We're looking at doing the sweep for our house. And then maybe in another 6 months, we listen to all these episodes again and we do the sweep again. And then another 6 months, we do the sweep again. Incremental progress. Now, here's one thing. If you do not live alone, or if for any reason you do not have control over what comes into your kitchen, that's a very, very real thing. I have other people in my house who have keys to cars and the ability to go to the grocery store. Gosh darn it. If that's the case, then you want to do step B, which you may not need to do if you live alone, but if you live with other people, you want to do step B, where you figure out if sugar stuff is going to be in the house, where does it go so it's not right in front of you, where you're not bumping into it, where you're not like looking for a snack and, oh, there it is, I can grab it easily, right? And that is going to be 80% of the solution. And really here, for all of this, we're really looking for 80% of the solution, because 100% all the time, 100% perfection all the time doesn't exist. And anybody who tries to be 100% perfect all the time, either, okay, long pause there. What was I going to say about people who try to be 100% perfect all the time? You just set yourself up for failure and disappointment, and it's not life, right? Yeah. And it's not about being good or bad here, right? It's just about being healthier. And all these things add up together. So if you got somebody else in your house, work with them and be like, okay, you want to have this ice cream in the freezer. I need to have it, like, can you put it in the way back of the freezer? Can you put it somewhere where I don't even know it is? Or can you put it, if you have a second freezer somewhere else, if you're lucky enough to have a second freezer in the garage, can you put that way out in the garage? Work through that, do whatever you need to just get it out of right in front of you. And don't worry. Sometimes we are too nice to the people we live with, and we don't want to inconvenience them. And we don't want to be like, oh, well, I don't want to ask them to put their candy somewhere else where I can't see it because I just don't want to make a big deal of it, and I'm strong. I have willpower. I can do this. No, 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 no. Don't do that. Don't do that. You got to be nice to yourself, and they will respect you. Just with love and compassion, say, hey, I got this goal. I'm trying to eat healthier. I'm trying to do better. This is one thing you can do for me. So please, we're just going to put this here. I won't make a big deal of it. If you don't make a big deal of it, it won't have to be a big deal, but it can be something that'll really help me. And I will really, really appreciate you if you can do this for me. Okay. So if you do that with your loved one or whoever lives with you, and they still resist and they're a jerk, then we got another thing we got to talk about, and it gets tougher. But that's a little more than what I'm going to handle in this podcast, because if that's where you are, you already know that's a way bigger discussion than a 5-minute podcast. So there we go. That's our step for today. Go into your kitchen, survey what you got there, get rid of the sugar. You can keep the chips today. You can keep other junk food today. Just target on sugar. I hope it goes well for you, and we'll see you tomorrow. Alrighty, friends. If you are new to this, head on over to couchtoactive.com. That's my website there. I help folks who have chronic illnesses or big barriers to fitness. And everything I do, 100% of what I do, is accessible to the blind. And so we've got a great family over there. Would love to meet you. That's couchtoactive.com.